Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions regarding this watch. In 2023, IWC did what people had asked them to do since 2016, which is to bring back the traditional Gerald Genta-influenced integrated bracelet Ingenieur. Oddly, in an era when people are obsessed with this genre of watch, IWC went in a different direction, reviving the Ingenieur style of the 50s and the 60s rather than its authentic and in-house Gerald Genta design. So while there were many Genta imitators during that period, IWC inexplicably left its Genta sports watch on the shelf. Well, for 2023, the Ingenieur Automatic 40 debuted to right that wrong. And in 2024, this variant, the blue dial, arrived to fill out the collection. So the watch in steel is 40 millimeters in diameter, 11 millimeters thick. If we're just measuring the case from lug to lug, it's 45.6, but if we measure the first link on each side, the distance across the wrist is a beefier 49.6. This watch is designed to echo the 1976 IWC Ingenieur SL, the reference 1832. So again, everyone wants to create their copy of the Nautilus and the Royal Oak, but reality is IWC doesn't have to copy. It's got one of the originals. Created the same year as the Nautilus, the Ingenieur SL became an enduring icon, anti-magnetic, shock-resistant, water-resistant, an engineer's watch, but also high style. And in this size, easily wearable on my 16-centimeter circumference wrist. It's a thin watch, too, and it'll easily slip underneath a dress cuff, including a tight sleeve. I'd recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It's a very comfortable and easy fit, which is one of the watch's most appealing qualities. It also feels very substantial. Now, I've been vocal about the fact that the same basic movement is in a Baume & Mercier that costs $4,000, but the Baume & Mercier doesn't feel this solid. It doesn't have this degree of attention to detail in its external finishing. Its bracelet is not this robust. Everything about this watch speaks to time and attention lavished on detail. You can see the famed integration of case into bracelet, and then we've got this bevel along the case that actually continues down the shoulder of the links. If you look at the center links, you can see they're actually faceted, and they include a combination of satination and polish, which I happen to like quite a good deal. The bracelet is supple, and it has very little lateral play, enough that it doesn't feel rigid and uncomfortable, but not so much that it feels worn. You can see from the underside we have quite a few removable links, so you're likely to find the right fit. And then we have a double folding clasp, which is really the only part of the watch that feels off the shelf. And, well, you can see right here that it was made by a supplier in France. Twin trigger. You can see it's a sequential close with one side closing before the other. The twin trigger ensures that it's not going to fly open inadvertently. So once it's closed, it is closed until you press both of those triggers. So a very durable, flat and flush IWC branded clasp. Taking a look at the case, you can see screw down crown with crown guards. This nice bevel along the crown guard profiles. The watch does feature a good deal of water resistance, 100 meters. Then there's a soft iron inner cage around the movement to add substantial anti-magnetic resistance. I believe 80,000 ampere per meter is the strength. You may wonder, are these bezel screws functional? Yes, they are. They do really hold the bezel in place. So it is exactly what it appears to be. You can see the bezel has a couple of different facets, satin and polish, and then we have polished individual bezel screws holding it in place. We have the IWC Probus Scafusia branded motto crown, so good solid watch made in Schaffhausen. The dial is blue now, and it is PVD, so it has a nice, rich, metallic luster to it. Applique indices as well as a polished frame for the date. Note the date disc is the same color as the dial. Attention to detail, that's very important, and I'm happy to see it here. You have the vintage Ingenieur logo right there. Let's take a look at the lume of this watch in the dark. Glows quite well. Inside, there's that movement, which I mentioned you can in fact get in a Baume & Mercier. It was developed by Volflurier for a series of Richemont brands, including Baume and IWC. IWC claims to make the movement in-house, which is plausible given that they can make it and they are a manufacturer, but its origins are at VF. That said, there's not a lot to sneeze at, as it is a 5-day automatic movement, which is quite impressive. 120 hours of power reserve, a 4 Hz beat rate, a quick set date, a hacking seconds function. All of that, and it pivots on 21 joules with the degree of water resistance and anti-magnetic qualities that we described before. A much needed addition to the IWC catalog, the return of the Gerald Genta designed IWC Ingenieur, now with blue dial. This is going to be a meat of the market watch that's going to please just about everyone. Unless you're a little bit offbeat and you want the Brad Pitt or you want the green turquoise, this is probably going to be the leading model in the collection. So reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details of what's destined to be a bestseller.